If I thought that you knew enough to cause serious problems, you would not be turned loose. You would simply disappear.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're looking at serial killers who never confessed to the full extent of their murders or took the truth to the grave.
Maybe you remember now.
No. I don't know. I meet kids every day. It don't mean I kill nobody.
Richard Hankle. Richard Hankle operated under the radar, but don't mistake obscurity for innocence. His crimes echoed those of mob killers like Richard Kuklinski. Hankle's criminal life reportedly began with bank robbery and fraudulent schemes, later evolving to contract killings tied to mob associates. He initially came to the attention of the authorities for violent underworld activity in the 1970s and 80s. While Hankle finally confessed to a handful of murders, investigators and true crime researchers believe his involvement may have extended far beyond that. No one knows the precise number of his kills, since he took the death toll to the grave. The Long Island Killer.
He wanted to really get into it. He asked me how I thought they could get rid of the bodies without being caught in that area. And I said, I've never been over there. I've never even seen Gilgo Beach.
For years, young women working as sex workers on Long Island, New York, vanished mysteriously. Some disappeared as far back as the early 1990s, with their remains later discovered along Gilgo Beach. Despite a growing number of victims, investigators struggled to find a solid suspect. That changed between 2023 and 2024, when Manhattan architect Rex Heuermann was charged in connection with 7 of the Gilgo murders.
Anytime you have somebody identified and that person's still at large, it's always a concern, because if you do it once, you would go out there and do it again.
While he maintains his innocence, the evidence against him is damning. DNA allegedly links him to multiple victims, phone records show contact with these women, and location data places him near their disappearances. Attention turns to the 2026 trial, which will determine whether justice is finally served or if the full truth remains buried.
After years of searching and fear, years of true crime hobbyists and their theories,
Rex, did you do it?
Turned out the suspected Gilgo Beach killer was hiding in plain sight the whole time.
H.H. Holmes.
H.H. Holmes may have slaughtered hundreds of victims in the murder castle, which was torn down in the 1930s. The government later built a post office on the plot, and part of the murder castle basement would have lined up exactly with the post office front lawn.
From insurance frauds and swindling schemes to theft and murder, H.H. Holmes was as twisted as they came. Yet despite his reputation as one of America's first serial killers, Holmes was convicted only of the murder of Benjamin Pitezel. Evidence also suggests he killed Pitezel's young ones, but beyond that, much remains unproven. Over time, sensational murder castle stories and Holmes's lies have muddled the truth.
The newspapers run wild with stories of Holmes's murder castle, claiming it contains secret passages, trap doors, gas and torture chambers, and a basement crematorium.
This notorious killer even confessed to killing people who were still alive. Now, there's no telling the true number of his victims, or what the so-called murder castle was truly designed for. Still, investigators believe Holmes killed for practical reasons like money, silence, or self-preservation, which suggests he may have killed many more.
It wasn't until the actual investigation started that someone who worked at the castle mentioned that on December 7th, they remember Holmes asking men to help him carry a very heavy trunk out of the castle.
Israel Keyes.
There is no one who knows me or who has ever known me.
We now know confessed serial killer Israel Keyes broke in through a garage window, and then, using the courier's crowbar, he broke through a kitchen window and slipped inside.
Officially, this killer is linked to 3 confirmed murders, though investigators believe his true death toll is far higher. That uncertainty is what makes Israel Keyes' case so disturbing. He kept murder kits across the country, killed at random, and never fully cooperated. Initially, though, Keyes confessed to some crimes in an effort to shield his family from public scrutiny.
You guys know about Lake Crescent in Washington?
He revealed to us that one of the Washington State victims was actually, their body was sunk in this particular lake.
When that failed and his identity became public, he shut down. In fact, investigators spent hours trying to get him to divulge more details, but it didn't work. After he took his own life, 11 skull drawings were discovered in his jail cell, suspected as the total number he killed. Even so, the full scope of his crimes may never be known. Keyes made sure of that.
I'm 2 different people, basically.
How long have you been two different people?
Long time.
Randall Woodfield.
As of today, detectives have definitively linked Randy Woodfield to 7 murders, but they suspect the I-5 killer is responsible for as many as 24 more.
Often called the I-5 killer, Randall Woodfield started his criminal career with robbery and sexual assault before escalating to murder. His crimes spanned across multiple states along the West Coast from the 1970s through 1981, targeting mostly women, both strangers and people he knew. He's been linked to 18 additional killings, with estimates placing his victim count as high as 44.
My mother had called me and she told me that she had read an article in the Milwaukee Journal about serial killers. And right there with John Wayne Gacy and a couple other ones, the son of Sam, was Randy Woodfield.
Despite that, Woodfield was convicted of only 1 murder and 1 attempted murder. Even worse, unrepentant Woodfield has never confessed to any of his crimes and even denied involvement in cases where evidence strongly suggests otherwise. Though sentenced to life imprisonment plus 90 years, Woodfield has left a trail of unanswered questions and countless victim stories unfinished.
You don't even deserve to breathe.
I don't even know.
You're a liar. You killed my best friend. You killed Sherry. I'm gonna make sure that you spend the rest of your life in prison.
Herb Baumeister.
The bodies began turning up in 1980. Victims between 14 and 26 years old, strangled or stabbed, left in rural areas across the state.
From a young age, Herb Baumeister displayed troubling behavior that escalated over time. By the early to mid-90s, he became a suspect in the disappearances of over a dozen gay men in Indiana. He'd meet them in popular gay bars, lure them to his property, strangle them, and dispose of their bodies. Even after he was identified, Baumeister and his wife refused to allow authorities to search their property. Increasingly alarmed by his erratic behavior, his wife eventually relented. The remains of at least 11 victims were later discovered. Realizing he was about to be caught, Baumeister fled and took his own life. Though he left a note, it revealed no details about his victims.
More than 1 year ago, Baumeister's family became aware that police wanted to question him about the disappearances of the men.
You're not with anybody 24 hours a day, and this has certainly been a tremendous surprise and shock to them, the revelation of this lifestyle that has allegedly taken place with him.
Lonnie Franklin Jr.
He showed absolutely no emotion the entire time Franklin was in court. Not a surprise to the victims' families.
The Grim Sleeper had a stop-start pattern that earned him his nickname and helped him hide in plain sight for decades. His killings began in the mid-1980s, targeting mostly black women who were sex workers or struggling with substance use disorder. Then he stopped, or appeared to, before resurfacing in the 2000s. After years of dead ends, police finally got a break thanks to his only survivor, Anitra Washington.
All of these people are potential victims?
I hope not. But they interacted with Lonnie Franklin at some point in their life.
Familial DNA from Lonnie Franklin Jr.'s son then led investigators to him. Even after his arrest, Franklin pleaded not guilty and never confessed. Disturbing photographs and videos found in his possession suggest he may have killed more than he was convicted of. In the end, the Grim Sleeper took his secrets to the grave.
In the end, he was caught. That's the best part. But never once did he utter why he did it.
Wayne Williams.
He was convinced he could beat a polygraph test. I said some reaction like, I'll be darned, you're the guy we've been looking for 2 years.
In May 1981, Atlanta police were staking out a bridge over the Chattahoochee River where several bodies had been dumped when they heard a splash. Minutes later, Wayne Williams was spotted driving away, instantly making him a suspect in the Atlanta murders. As the investigation unfolded, Williams gave inconsistent explanations, raising more red flags. Fibers from his home and car matched those found on multiple victims, and witness testimony pointed to him.
Those fibers, along with witness testimony, led to the arrest and indictment of Wayne Williams for the murder of Nathaniel Cater and another man, Jimmy Ray Payne, whose body was found a month earlier near where Cater's body was found.
Still, Williams maintained his innocence, even claiming police had framed him. He was eventually convicted of murdering 2 adult men, but not for the minors. Today, the Atlanta murders remain largely debated. One question lingers, though. Why did the killings stop after Williams became a suspect?
Y'all think Wayne Williams murdered all those kids? Prove it. Or I think I'll be going home.
David Parker Ray.
Authorities caught Ray and Cindy Hendy out looking for Cynthia. The next time Cynthia would see him was in court when Ray was convicted.
Sadly, not all crimes ever see justice. That is especially true for the victims of David Parker Ray. Known as the Toy Box Killer, Ray was convicted for kidnapping and torture, but not murder. In 1999, a woman escaped from his trailer, leading the police to a horrifying scene filled with torture devices, recordings, and restraints. Investigators believe Ray assaulted, tortured, and killed up to 60 individuals, yet no remains were ever found.
When Ray died in 2002 and took that knowledge to his grave, it left investigators searching for answers.
We're convinced that there are remains. It's just a matter of locating them.
His own diary detailed the abuse he inflicted on victims, while his accomplice, Cindy Hendy, described their gruesome acts. Ray even promised to show police the burial sites, but died in custody before this could happen. With his death, the true number of his victims vanished with him.
My trailer had numerous sex toys in it of different types, all different fetishes. I got pleasure out of the woman getting pleasure.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Dean Corll.
Corll, known as the Candyman because his family owned candy shops, along with Henley and a second accomplice, David Brooks, kidnapped, sexually tortured, and killed more than 24 boys and young men in the early 1970s.
Between 1970 and 1973, Dean Corll and his accomplices, David Brooks and Elmer Wayne Henley, committed some of the most sadistic crimes in Houston. Victims were lured to Corll's lair, where they were tortured, assaulted, then shot or strangled. Shockingly, these killings went unnoticed for years, until 1973, when Corll himself was killed.
Back then, sadly, that most of them were just considered runaways. There really wasn't any, effort made to locate. You didn't have groups like Texas Equus Search.
As it turned out, Corll had planned to murder Henley, but Henley managed to turn the tables. Fed up with Corll killing his friends, Henley shot him dead. He then reported himself to police, exposing their crimes and leading authorities to multiple burial sites. Because Corll died before he could be caught, there are still missing pieces of the full scope of his deadly deeds.
This isn't just killing these guys and burying them. He wants to keep things, and he wants you to wear them.
Which of these stories do you find most chilling? Let us know in the comments.